And I guess we can go ahead and plow right in to the David Pakman drama. This man has he's like addicted to humiliating himself. There are some people who just love nothing more than to do an absolute belly flop. And the thing about David Pakman is he has a boomer audience, right? So I actually think that to the people that watch his show and tune into it, it's like an online MSNBC for them. So I think in his limited, narrow echo chamber, he actually has cultivated an audience that wants to hear shit like that wants to talk about how as a literal ethnic cleansing is going on and Joe Biden is working tirelessly not to stop it, but to end any kind of, red tape or regulation that would prevent Israel from raiding us for as many weapons as they want. The Intercept just wrote a really interesting story about that I think Brian Brim tweeted out if anybody wants to find it. But I think that that's what's creating this massive rift between him and the rest of the left, where he genuinely thinks that he's speaking to, the majority of the people here. And really what he's done is he's just gone full, corporate media pilled.
This is crazy, guys. He says Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas war has been remarkable.
So that can only be followed up by remarkably bad.
I see all the same reports that you see. Young people displeased with Biden over handling of Israeli-Hamas war, so on and so forth. Disaster for Biden in 2024. First and foremost, you're telling me that those people who don't feel Biden has done enough are going to vote for Donald Trump?
All right. First off, massive straw man. No one's saying that. I haven't heard
anyone not vote at all.
That. Yeah, they're not going to vote at all. Exactly. And that's the problem with a president like Joe Biden, who doesn't really inspire anybody. He only inspires people to want to vote against the opposition, which is Donald Trump. But if you don't feel positively enough about Joe Biden to go out and vote against Donald Trump, then, that's going to leave a real opening for Trump's much more enthusiastic base to come through and deliver a victory for him. I'm still not 100% positive that that's what's going to happen. Some people are like pounding the gavel and saying that Trump's definitely going to win. I think, we'll need to reevaluate that in about a half a year or a year. I'm definitely getting worried about it, but the point is, no one is saying that people who are upset about Joe Biden's handling of the Israel-Palestine conflict are going to vote for Joe Biden instead. Or sorry, they're going to vote for Donald Trump instead. I haven't heard really anyone saying that. What I have heard is a lot of people saying that the youth vote, the progressive vote, and the Muslim American vote will be significantly depressed because of the way he's been handling this. And those people aren't going to vote for Donald Trump. Maybe a small percentage of them will, but a lot of them are just either going to not vote at all, or they might vote for a third party candidate like RFK, Jill Stein, someone like that. But they ain't voting for Biden. And Biden did not win by very much last time. It was a pretty thin margin of victory. So if just enough people stay home in the key states like Michigan, which does have a pretty high Palestinian and Arab American population, then he might be totally fucked just based off of that alone.
100%. But what is interesting is I was shocked to see this the other day, Gavin. Have you been paying attention to the recent general election polls that include everyone? So this one has RFK, West, Jill Stein, Joe Biden, and Trump. And it is pretty interesting to see that Donald Trump is absolutely kicking ass in these polls. Even in spite of the fact that we anticipated that a lot of his support would be eroded by RFK staying in the race, it doesn't seem to appear that way. We can look at even a few more polls that this one, if you look at just the general election, Trump by Biden, he's still leading by about 3 or 4 points in this most recent one. Just pretty crazy to think that Joe Biden has been so unpopular and ignored the demands of his base so much that even in the face of 91 fucking criminal charges, an insurrection, just being an absolute fucking oaf and dingus, the financial crimes that he's committed in New York, all of it compounding on that, you've been so dog shit as president that even with the fucking 7-point handicap that was taken by RFK, you're still losing. And obviously it's not a general, or the general election isn't a direct, vote. But actually, if the Republicans are leading in the polling, that's doubly bad for Democrats because they have an easier path to the Electoral College because of how rickety and fake our election system is.
Absolutely correct.
That doesn't make any sense, first and foremost. Secondly, it is actually remarkable the amount of success that Joe Biden has had here, pushing Israelis to allow aid into Gaza, warning Israel, don't overplay your hand, getting involved in the negotiation for hostage.
He allowed like 5 dump trucks worth of fucking quote unquote aid into Gaza after greenlighting a massive genocidal massacre, essentially. A campaign of bombing which left like 1 million plus people displaced, killed tens of thousands. But yeah, luckily he let some aid in afterwards. You know what I'm saying? A couple trucks showed up with a few loaves of bread and some band-aids and maybe a couple bottles of water. How is that any different than like, you know, Trump throwing fucking paper towels at Puerto Rico? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, it's not the same. I understand the differances.
It's actually way worse. What Joe
It's
Biden is
way worse. But yeah, in the same way that to be like, oh, Donald Trump, you know, he allowed for the delivery of aid to Puerto Rico after that. You know, it's no different. It's just you know, complete Democrat propaganda.
Release, and that is major. That is tangible, and that is major. And meanwhile, Fox News is talking about Biden's age. I see all the same reports that you see. Young people displeased with Biden over handling of Israeli-Hamas war, so on and so forth. Disaster for Biden in 2024. First and foremost, you're telling me that those people who don't feel Biden has done enough are going to vote for Donald Trump?
Oh, did it start over? Oops. Yeah.
Yeah, it fucking deranged. But at this point, I think that is essentially what David Pakman is doing, right? He is the damage control. He's a propagandist. He's actually things are better than you think. Like basically the Steven Pinker of the Democratic Party. It's like, actually things used to be a lot worse. It's just like random, like, whataboutism that kind of makes everything seem a little bit better. Oh, well, he did give them all of the weapons that they needed to brutally displace over 1 million people and cause over 10,000 deaths and all of that. But don't worry, he has a heart. He sent some scraps their way. So it looked like he was really compassionate about the issue. It's like essentially what it is. It's all a PR campaign. Any of the fucking relief that's being sent to the Palestinians, it's all a joke. Okay, they're going to continue to be barraged by whatever the fuck you want to, word you want to choose. It's a fucking massacre going on. And yeah, there was a fucking brief pause, but I am horrified for what's going to happen when that pause ends, because there's going to be heavy fire going on. There was Hezbollah, I believe, destroyed a Israeli base while I was out of town. I peripherally looked at that. It was on the far outskirts of Israel, closest to Lebanon. But obviously, there's going to be, they're going to use that as justification for all kinds of horrible things. It's no good.